Ah yes, the 1990s, also known as the last analog decade. Welcome, Earthlings. Prepare yourselves. We're entering the 1990s, the final decade before you outsourced your intelligence to smartphones. From the rise of the internet to global shake-ups, from iconic movies to unforgettable disasters, the 90s had it all. And yes, most of it was recorded on VHS with terrible tracking. Let's see if your memory can keep up, or if you belong back in the blockbuster return bin. Engage. Level 1. Easier than beating the first level of Sonic the Hedgehog. Who is the lead singer of the band Pearl Jam? Eddie Vedder. What 1990s TV show featured a close talker, a low talker, and a soup Nazi? Seinfeld. What popular 1990s hairstyle was made famous by Jennifer Aniston? The Rachel. What 1996 basketball movie starred Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes? Space Jam. Which boy band had a hit in 1997 with Mbop? Hanson. What 1993 film brought dinosaurs back to life using groundbreaking CGI? Jurassic Park. What 1990s fashion trend involved wearing baggy trousers with large pockets on the sides? Cargo pants. Who wrote the 1996 legal thriller The Runaway Jury? John Grisham. What stuffed animal fad involved collecting small plush toys filled with beans? Beanie Babies. What 1994 film features the quote, "Life is like a box of chocolates"? Forrest Gump. Who was the only US president to be impeached in the 1990s? Bill Clinton. What massively popular Game Boy game launched a franchise about catching pocket monsters? Pokémon. What 1994 Disney animated film features a lion cub named Simba? The Lion King. What 1999 music file sharing service was founded by Sean Fanning? Napster. What 1994 TV sitcom featured 6 friends living in New York City? Friends. Well played. Your mind is more explosive than Mentos in Diet Coke. What sour candy, introduced in 1993, challenged kids to see how long they could keep it in their mouths? Warheads. What portable digital pet on a keychain required feeding and cleaning to keep it alive? Tamagotchi. What are the first two rules of Fight Club? 1999. You do not talk about Fight Club. Who sang the 1998 hit Baby One More Time? Britney Spears. What TV show, premiering in 1990, was asking the question, who killed Laura Palmer? Twin Peaks. Name the 1990s sitcom about a street-smart teenager sent to live with his wealthy relatives. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What song by Whitney Houston spent 14 weeks at number 1 in 1992? I Will Always Love You. Who won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993 for their work to end apartheid? Nelson Mandela and F.W. de Klerk. What 1997 film, directed by James Cameron, became the highest-grossing movie of all time, until Avatar? Titanic. What 1999 teen comedy was a modern retelling of Pygmalion and My Fair Lady? She's All That. Level 2, where your brain starts buffering. Which R&B group had a smash hit with Waterfalls in 1995? TLC. What 1990s cartoon featured a boy genius with a secret laboratory? Dexter's Laboratory. Who wrote the best-selling Goosebumps series of children's horror books? R.L. Stine. Which 1990s TV show, created by David E. Kelly, was set in a Boston law firm? The Practice. Who starred as the title character in the 1996 movie Happy Gilmore? Adam Sandler. What 1997 hit song by Chumbawamba features the lyric, "I get knocked down, but I get up again"? Tub thumping. What hugely popular 90s snack consisted of cookies and frosting in a small blue package? Dunkaroos. What was the name of the cult entered into a standoff with the FBI in Waco, Texas in 1993? Branch Davidians. What currency was introduced in non-physical form, travelers' checks, electronic transfers, on January 1st, 1999? The Euro. What 1990s band released the song Semi-Charmed Life? Third Eye Blind. Which TV show premiered in 1998 and featured a group of teens in Wisconsin during the 70s? That 70s Show. What 1995 film starred Mel Gibson as Scottish warrior William Wallace? Braveheart. Who wrote the 1996 bestseller Into the Wild? John Krakauer. What enclosed ecological system experiment in Arizona involved 8 people living inside for 2 years, 1991 to 1993? Biosphere 2. What 1995 massacre in Bosnia was the worst crime on European soil since World War II? The Srebrenica massacre. What terrorist attack occurred on February 26, 1993 in New York City? The World Trade Center bombing, 1993. What vehicle did GM release a civilian version of in 1992, popularized by Arnold Schwarzenegger? Hummer H1. What 1990s fad involved 3D images hidden in abstract patterns that required you to cross your eyes to see? Magic Eye, autostereograms. What music video was included on the Windows 95 installation's CD-ROM to demonstrate video capabilities? Buddy Holly by Weezer. Who drove the white Ford Bronco during O.J. Simpson's famous low-speed chase in 1994? Al Cowlings. What was the name of the primitive web browser that popularized the World Wide Web in 1993 before Netscape? Mosaic. What 1990s toy line was a doll less than an inch tall? Polly Pocket. What 1996 disaster film featured cows flying through the air? Twister. Right on! Even Mulder and Scully couldn't find fault with that. What 1993 law required a waiting period for handgun purchases in the US? The Brady Bill, Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act. Who was the first female US Attorney General appointed in 1993? Janet Reno. Level 3. Time to prove whether you're a trivia wizard or just running on floppy disk memory. Which 1993 film starring Tom Hanks dealt with the AIDS crisis and discrimination? Philadelphia. Which scientist was named Time magazine's Person of the Year in 1996 for his work on AIDS cocktails? David Ho. What 1997 film, directed by Paul Verhoeven, was a satire of fascism, featuring giant bugs? Starship Troopers. Which MLB player hit his 70th home run of the season on September 27, 1998? Mark Maguire. Which 1992 song by Sir Mix-a-Lot was a tribute to large posteriors? Baby Got Back. What massive shopping mall, the largest in the US, opened in Minnesota in 1992? Mall of America. What 1997 blockbuster film features a character named Lilu? The Fifth Element. Who was the only US president to use the line item veto before the Supreme Court struck it down in 1998? Bill Clinton. Which 1990s band had a hit with No Rain and featured a B-girl in the video? Blind Melon. What 1997 treaty banned the use, stockpiling, and transfer of anti-personnel mines? The Ottawa Treaty. What electronic audio game commanded players to twist it, pull it, spin it? Bop It. Which supermodel famously tripped on the runway in 1993 wearing massive platform shoes? Naomi Campbell. Which 1990s sitcom featured a hat-wearing teenage girl with the last name Russo? Blossom. Which 1990s Nickelodeon show featured a football-headed kid living in the city? Hey Arnold. Who won the Super Bowl 3 times in the 1990s? 1993, 1994, 1996. Dallas Cowboys. What diet drug combination was pulled from the market in 1997 due to heart valve risks? Fen-Phen. What 1992 film starred Sharon Stone and Michael Douglas and featured a controversial interrogation scene? Basic Instinct. What 1997 transfer ended more than a century of British rule? Hong Kong handover to China. What 1999 massive protest movement in Seattle shut down the World Trade Organization conference? The Battle of Seattle. Who was the Prime Minister of Australia for the latter half of the 90s, elected in 1996? John Howard. Wrong. That guess belongs in a GeoCities graveyard. Which 1996 legislation created the rating system for television programs? TVY, TV14, etc. Telecommunications Act of 1996. Who was the captain of the 1999 US women's soccer team that won the World Cup? Carla Overbeck. What 1995 conflict saw NATO launch Operation Deliberate Force? the Bosnian War. Who wrote the play Angels in America, which won the Pulitzer Prize in 1993? Tony Kushner. What genocide occurred in Rwanda in 1994? Tutsi genocide. Thank you for participating in this retro meltdown. That's a wrap on the 1990s Trivia Challenge. You've navigated global upheavals, tech breakthroughs, toy crazes, and enough denim to fill a wormhole. If you scored high, great job. If you scored low, I hope you at least learned something, unlike most of your species during that decade. Please like, subscribe, and return soon for more trivia, more humiliation, and more of me. You know you want to. Melvin, out. Before you scuttle off to your earthly distractions, may I suggest indulging in one more of my mind-melting masterpieces? You're welcome.